I'm Christy Barr. Welcome to the Xavier Leadership Center, Women in Business, and the Xavier Leadership Center's Leading Way, Women in Business series. In this series, we're talking with senior women leaders on how they're navigating during this very unique time in the business world. Today's guest is Jennifer Bennett. Jennifer is the Senior Vice President at Fidelity and a proud Xavier grad. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, Chrissy. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, we're excited to learn your thoughts. Tell us a little bit about how you're taking care of yourself during this very unique time.
Oh, gosh. Well, it has been a challenge, although I'm very thankful the weather is now warm enough to get outside. A couple of things I am trying to focus on during the day, being very mindful of the fact that Zoom fatigue is a real thing, and giving both myself and my team permission just to turn off the camera periodically and no questions asked, just to sort of give us a little bit of break from being face to face via video all the time. And then I'm a huge walker, so I am a big fan of doing walking meetings, walking one-on-ones. So anybody that I can rope into doing that with me, as long as they don't mind sort of taking our conversation on the road. Of course, we're doing it, on the phone now. But that has been, I think, a way for me to try to take care of myself and give myself a little bit of a break, and frankly, get up and just get moving during the day too.
That's great. So you're getting your steps in now.
Trying, yes. Comfortable shoes are a must.
That's true. And nobody sees it. I'm actually wearing comfortable shoes right now. Don't tell anybody. What surprising things have you been stocking up on besides running shoes during this time?
So it has been fascinating to me, the things that you cannot find on any given day during the past few months. And just two things popped to mind actually for me. One, healthy snacks. And as corny as that sounds, my office is upstairs, and I swear sometimes I can actually hear my refrigerator talking to me. And so I've really been trying to be mindful around making sure that I have healthy snacks that are easy and quick. So when I take one of those Zoom breaks, I can grab a quick snack as well. And then the other silly thing, we've used this in my house for years, and when I can't find it, it makes me nutty. Windex, of all things, makes a great antibacterial spray cleaner. And so it's in a regular Windex bottle. It's yellow, and I'm a huge fan because you can use it all over your house, and I feel like I need to be using it all over my house on any given day, and we have been stocking up on that when we can find it.
That is a helpful hint. I'm definitely going to make sure I use a little bit more Windex. So that's good. How are you leading during this time of crisis, whether it's coronavirus or all the other political and financial? I know I look at my Fidelity account. I'm a customer. I look at my Fidelity statement almost daily online to see what's going on. How are you leading during this time?
Well, that's terrific. Thank you for being a Fidelity customer. We appreciate that. And really for us, it has been all about being here for our customers. So, and you're right, it's, between the pandemic, the unrest that has sort of caused with the markets and the extreme volatility. And then frankly, I think a lot of the issues we have all been impacted by and struggling with racial inequity. It has been just a really, really tough couple of months. So as a leader, I think that I'm a big believer in the direct link between associate engagement and delivering exceptional service to our customers. So I have tried to be very mindful in finding ways, even while we're not in the office, of really purposefully connecting with my team, over communicating, touching base with them periodically, making sure that as we settled into work from home, we gave everybody time to really settle in and get acclimated, because there was a lot going on personally there for folks, especially those with families or with elder care challenges. But really trying to make sure I'm supporting the team, over communicating, and still driving a sense of community. I think that's the other thing that I've really tried to lean into. The more engaged our associates are, the more that they feel like they're part of a broader community at Fidelity, and the more that they they connect with the purpose that we have, which is really helping folks save for a more secure financial future, the better service they will provide all of our customers. And that's really what we have been about and continue to be about. So those are the types of things I've been focusing on.
You know, keeping your team members engaged and your customers as well engaged takes a fair amount of soft skills. What's the one soft skill that you're really relying on these days?
Gosh, hard to pick out just one. I would say for me, listening has been one I've really tried to lean into. It usually leads to empathy, but listening would be number one on my list. I'm a problem solver by nature. I'm a roll up your sleeves and jump in and fix it kind of leader, and I have really had to be mindful that sometimes over these challenging times, what my team needs is not someone to fix it. They need someone just to listen to them and to be with them and to give them a forum and a welcome, just a welcome ear and a warm point of engagement as they're struggling with whatever it is at any given day and time. And so for me, trying to be more mindful of leaning into the listening versus the problem solving. My mom always told me God gave us 2 ears for one reason, 2 ears and 1 mouth. And so listening would be the one I would pick out.
And listening is such a hard skill for many people because we're thinking ahead or we're focused on what else is going around and there's so many distractions. So that's active listening, I think, is very, very difficult to do.
So true.
On the flip side, when you have your hard business skills, ones that we think about in MBA classes and such, what are the hard business skills, business acumen skills that you're really using these days?
Things I would call out that have been hugely impactful for our business, especially as we worked our way through the early stages of the pandemic and moving our workforce to work from home. Technology, specifically digital technology and skills there. And then probably the one area that has been so underrated, that has been so critically important is just business resiliency planning. We have, across Fidelity, a workforce of 50,000+ people. And, we received the instructions from our chairman and CEO, Abby Johnson, to work from home. I remember this distinctly on March 12th. Late in the afternoon, and then within 24 hours, we had 70% of our associates fully up and functioning at home. And within about 3 business days after that, we had 98% of our associates working from home. So that the combination of, I would say, really strong and continued investment in technology and really thoughtful business continuity and resiliency planning coming together sort of in that really pressure cooker time. Because we were still incredibly busy with supporting our clients and our personal investing customers, and we needed to be there. We needed to show up and be available and help them navigate this challenging time as well. And so I would, my hat's off to those in the technology and the business continuity fields and teams, because they did just a fantastic job.
We never can fully prepare for times like these, but if you had to go in the future and come back and give yourself advice on how to navigate during this, what advice would you give yourself in the future looking back?
Oh gosh, Chrissy, that's a great question. So many pieces of advice, right? Because none of us have been through this before. And so I think we're all sort of learning as we go. Maybe for me, I've already told you that I like to jump in and try to solve problems. I'm also not a very patient person by nature. And so I think I would try to tell myself to think about our current situation more as a marathon and not as a sprint. I think, my personal point of view is that I think we're going to be in this sort of, uncomfortable state for a while, where a lot of folks are still working from home, and we're, very fluid as we think about the future and what return to work might look like and when that might happen, and how do we continue to, support our teams and deliver, great results for our customers. It's taking longer, I think, than I would have thought going into it. So I think having patience and being resilient and thinking about this is something that we are going to need to settle in and get comfortable for the long haul, or at least longer than I initially thought. That would be advice I would give would be advice I would give myself.
The business world is going to be different in the future. How will your business at Fidelity be different in the future?
We've been having some fascinating conversations on that, because a lot of our business deals with interacting with customers, whether that's in our retail investor centers or through our institutional benefits outsourcing customers. So the whole emergence of, for example, Zoom, and how we are working today and how we are all interacting, and frankly getting business done, still serving our clients. I suspect it will fundamentally change how we think about interacting with customers going forward, and sometimes based on the customer's preference. They may have a desire to use more video conferencing or other technology, where before we may have had a preference to do interactions like this, or financial planning in person. And so I'm fascinated by thinking about how the nature of work is going to change going forward. I think the other thing that has been really interesting and will be something for us to watch is, it just feels like there's such a convergence of home and work right now, and how those two worlds interact and need to coexist, and you need to lean sometimes more into work and sometimes more into home. And seeing associates and also companies navigate that, I think we're going to see some lasting effects from that as well. So those would be two things I would point out.
Okay. What gives you hope? What gives you hope for the future?
Oh gosh, a lot gives me hope for the future. I am eternally energized and sometimes perplexed by my kids. They give me hope for the future, seeing how they have gone through the past few months. I had a senior who graduated from high school, so one of those kids who sort of had a very odd graduation experience. But seeing how they've bounced back, how optimistic they are about the future, how much potential they see, and frankly, how strongly they have reacted to the horrible situations with racial injustice in the country as well. That gives me hope that this generation is actually going to be able to make and sustain some changes on that front, and that gives me a lot of hope.
That's good to hear. Jennifer, is there anything else that you'd want to share with people? Words of wisdom, sage advice to give us to navigate during these times?
Gosh, I don't know if I have any words of wisdom or sage advice, Chrissy. I will say maybe one more thing I would call out that I think has been a positive. You asked what gives me hope in addition to my kids. I think one of the other dialogues that is becoming much more public and front and center during this time has been around the importance of mental well-being. And that's a subject that, in my opinion, has probably been one that we've not talked about as much as leaders as we could have and should have previously. And I personally love the fact that we're talking a lot about that importance and the impact that anxiety and stress and a whole bunch of factors can have on someone's holistic well-being. I love seeing the amplified discussion around mental health. I think that's a really positive and hopefully a sustainable change that we'll see too.
Well, Jennifer, thank you. That was sage, and it was those were words of wisdom for all of us. On behalf of Xavier University and the Xavier Leadership Center's Women in Business series, thank you so much for spending time with us today and sharing your thoughts.
My pleasure, Chrissy. Thank you so much for the opportunity.